At a very shallow glance, the weapon is a mix between the Nukor, the Acceltra, and the name is inspired by an ancient Mesopotamian mythological creature. You'd almost think like somebody was trying too hard. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into the Basmu, which I think means venomous snake, but I might be wrong. As per the usual, I got a couple of builds lined up for you. Something cheap, something affordable, something that most players should be able to build. But of course, we also have the quote-unquote endgame setup with a Riven. That said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides usually take a new player-friendly approach. I like to take my time and explain a lot of the aspects that veteran players should already be accustomed to. So in case you're a veteran and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Basmu. Let's begin by having a look at how the weapon handles without any mods equipped, and for that just a couple of free shots. Now the Basmu is a sentient weapon which has two fire modes. In primary fire mode, this one resembles the Acceltra. Did you take a look at the animation? It kind of clamps its jaws like that. It does it from time to time. As you can see, these projectiles have travel time, and upon impact, as you probably cannot see, they have an AoE explosion, 1.7 meters. Now it's difficult, even with blinding white energy, to see the actual explosion area, but take a look. See? 1.7 meters worth of explosion. Now, if you manage to empty the entire magazine on the Basmu, it will release out 3 AoE pulses, which will be dealing a very small amount of damage to enemies, and it will be also healing you for a small amount. Now, of course, if you want more healing, what you gotta do is hit multiple enemies. So perhaps get a Boban, and clamp them all up to... Volvan, I know, I'm sorry. So clamp them all up together with Volvan and then release your AoE pulses, which will be dealing a little bit of damage to them and more importantly giving you some healing. You can build around this if you so desire. Minus magazine capacity, fire rate, reload speed, all of that good stuff. From my point of view, it's not really worth it, but it's a little bit of a gimmick that you can play around with in Warframe. Now back to the weapon itself. We got more fire rates. On the secondary fire rate, this one is basically a beam weapon which lets out these feeble looking strings. Yes, those are the beams of the Basmu. I know, they look like... okay. But more importantly, they will be chaining to additional enemies, and as soon as they chain to something, you see that they kind of lock on to a target as soon as you hit, and they look a whole lot less pathetic than before. Take a look at that. Now, how many targets can I hit? Up to 8 targets, but unfortunately the range on this one is very limited to 9 meters, so that's not a lot. Let's check the range. 5 meters, 7 meters, 8 meters, 9. See? 9 meters. Basically, if I go to 10, I'm not going to be able to hit my target. Or, maybe? Nope, that's it. It's over now. Just 9 to 10 meters, something like that. You cannot increase the range with Sinister Reach, so bear that one in mind. And I think that's pretty much it for functionality. Oh, the weapon reloads by itself. It's one of those self-reloading weapons. As you can see, if I don't finish the magazine, the weapon will quickly reload its 21 magazine capacity in about 0.4 seconds. Super quick. But if I fully unload the magazine, like so, and let out the energy pulses, it's gonna take 1 extra second because it does have a bit of a delay. So in normal missions, what you wanna do, from my point of view at least, hit a target till basically you're almost out of the magazine, stop at 1, 2, something like that, and then let the magazine quickly reload while you reposition your aim to another target. I wouldn't play around with the AoE healing, then again, that depends on what kind of setup you're going for. And I think that's pretty much it. Let's check out the stats. In case I missed something when it comes to functionality, I'll get back to it later. Accuracy on this one is going to be 20 for primary fire mode, and in secondary fire mode you got an accuracy of 3, but as you saw, it doesn't really matter because once you hit a target, the beams kind of lock on or latch on to your target and start chaining to additional targets. Heavy calibre, is it worth? Well, for primary fire mode, definitely not, but there is one caveat to this. Let's put on multi-shot and let's test out the weapon just to see exactly how this one plays out. So for the primary fire mode, if you're gonna go for headshots, which I do recommend, it's not really worth it because you are losing some of those projectiles, a lot of them actually. But if you want to use it as a weapon which you shoot for the feet for or body shots, then you can definitely go for heavy caliber. Keep in mind that heavy caliber has no effect when it comes to the secondary fire mode, that is the beam portion of the weapon. So again, if you're going for the head, no heavy caliber. If you're going for the feet, sure, use heavy caliber. Why the hell not? Now that that's out of the way, critical chance on the primary fire mode is only 15%, unfortunately, my friends. So there you go. Is it still worth going for critical chance mods such as point strike? Well, yeah, but barely. So there's that. Critical multiplier is not bad, the decent 2.0x with a fire rate of 12, magazine of 21, and a multi-shot of by default of 1. Now here's a question, how the hell does multi-shot work on beam weapons nowadays anyway? Well, let's put on some multi-shot. It says now that from 2 beams I went to 3.8 beams. You don't say. Okay, fine. The 2 beams are clearly visible, but the other 2 beams are not really all that visible. So there's that. From my testing, yes, the weapon definitely deals more damage with more multi-shot on it, and I still think it's definitely worth it, but there you go. If you remember before the whole status changes and all whatnot, basically it kinda increases the damage, but it's based off the modded weapon damage value, not the base damage value of the weapon. So I know, it's a little bit confusing. Point is, yes, still use multi-shot on this beautiful weapon. What was I saying anyway? Oh yes, the reload of 0.2 seconds, lightning quick on primary fire mode, the same as secondary fire mode, of course. You got a Riven dispo of 3 out of 5, which means that the Rivens are smack in the middle. I wouldn't pay more than 200-300 plat for a Basmu Riven, but in general, I don't pay more than that for a Riven. Maybe 400, something like that. Of course, it's entirely up to you. I think it's worth getting a Riven for this one, but wait until we get to the Riven section. Status chance of 29% on primary fire mode, which is awesome, trigger auto, and the damage on this one is electricity by default. Fantastic? Perhaps. But right now we have viral meta, so we can't have the weapon deal pure viral damage, but we can have the weapon deal pure corrosive damage. Now the radial attack, as before, is the AoE portion. You got a fall off of 20% and a range of 1.7 meters. Can you use Firestorm? Hooray! Yes, you can, but it's mostly worthless. Look at that. What you got? 0.41 extra range. It's not really worth it from my point of view, but if you want to, there you go. You can do it. Heat damage by default also, so bear that one in mind. You can make interesting elemental combinations, and heat right now, from my subjective point of view, is the most powerful single element in Warframe. It strips away some armor, and it deals a decent amount of damage. Secondary fire mode or hell, you're gonna have to keep your middle mouse button pressed down or your scroll wheel. Don't know what button you need to use on console. Accuracy of 3, we don't care. Critical yeah, critical chance of 2%, but the critical multiplier 4.8x. So basically this mirrors the, what's it called, the microwave gun, the Nukor. Yeah, if you can get bonus critical chance effects such as Avenger, Harrow, Kavad buff, and so on and so forth, then yeah, definitely it's worth building into more critical damage on this one. But if you can't, then you gotta pass the crit mods if you wanna build the weapon strictly for the secondary fire mode. Now, why would you do that? The fire rate is the same, magazine the same, multi-shot of 2. Interesting, the 2 little beams, yes, but even with multi-shot, you don't see the additional beams. Noise alarming, of course, reload of 0.2, just as before, same Riven. Status per projectile, 30%. That is huge. So if you want to build pure status, you can go for the secondary fire mode if you so desire. Trigger held, and the damage as before is electricity, but a bit less than electricity. Actually, a lot less electricity than in primary fire mode. Now, my friends, normally this is when I do that and we jump into a standard build, but we're not gonna do that because we need to test out a whole bunch of builds just to make sure exactly what is powerful, what is not, and so on and so forth. First off, the mandatory mod, Serration, multi-shot, and of course critical chance, critical damage. Now, critical chance and critical damage, well, are only really worth it from my point of view if you're gonna go for the primary fire mode as your main thing. If you wanna go for your secondary fire mode as your main thing and get critical chance, bonus additive after effects, forget about point strike. So bear that one in mind. Tell me, my friends, what is the meta right now? Yeah, viral. Yeah, it's freaking viral. So let's build viral. Why the hell not? Yay, viral on everything. Thanks, DE. So you got Malignant Force and Rhyme Rounds, the 260-60 viral mods. And for our last mod, what should we populate this one? How about we test Hunter Munitions? Preposterous, Laser, preposterous. Only 37.5% chance. Yes, I know, but it still works. Trust me, I hate myself for this, but I gotta show you this. I gotta. I'm sorry, alright? Fine? I'm sorry, I apologize. Oh, this is the new Simulacrum. I like the old one better. There you go. It seems to have more space. And now I got 20 corrupted heavy gunners right here. But I'm gonna go strictly for a headshot, and as you can see, devastating. And what's exactly more devastating, the viral or the slashes from Hunter Munitions? Was basically it's a combination between the two, my friends, because viral now increases the amount of damage you can get from your slash procs, subsequent slash procs, and all whatnot. Now again, you shouldn't really fire your weapon until it's fully empty. You should try something like this. Stopped on 1. Awesome. And you might say, dude, I can't be arsed to stop on 1 bullet. Stop that. And you know what? I thought the same when I first realized this, but if you try a little bit, just try a little bit, you kind of get used to it really, really quickly. All I'm saying is give it a shot. It's not so bad. So, of course, you can build viral and hunter munitions if you so desire. Yes, it is viable. Now, let's try the beam. Now, the beam is not really gonna put all that many slashes, but it does viral. Let's see what can viral do all by its lonesome. Well, that guy got damaged down by the slashes earlier, so don't look at that guy. That guy is not important. So, as you can see, viral without slashes doesn't do all that much. You don't believe me? You think it's the beam that's at fault? Fine, fine, we'll take off hunter munitions and put on more viral damage. More viral with what, my friends? Well, whatever you want. Of course, if you got prime cryo rounds, you should put on prime cryo rounds, but let's assume that you don't have prime cryo rounds. We'll just go with a 90 mod. Yeah, a lot more viral on the weapon, and we're just gonna go straight up like this. Why am I even doing this? Well, because viral is the new meta, 100%. I will not deny that, but building mindlessly viral on whatever weapon you get your hands on and expecting it to be great is not the way, my friends. Not the way. Primary fire mode. As you can see, a lot weaker than before. Of course, viral makes a fantastic combination with slash. Too fantastic, that's the issue. Hopefully D will notice that. And I don't want them to nerf viral, don't misunderstand me. I want them to buff everything else. So there's that. So from this point onwards, the most powerful combo was viral with the 60-60 mods together with slash. Again, hunter munitions. Yes, but what about my old favorite, Corrosive? Let's build Corrosive on this beautiful weapon. Yes, yes. We shall build Corrosive with high voltage. Now, unfortunately, this one is a tad more expensive. If you guys want to farm it from the mission Nilgar Planetaris, you gotta find all the free secret caches. Then upon extraction, it's not my fault that you didn't get it. Okay, so you can buy it from the trade chat, or you can wait for Battle to bring it. He brings 60-60 electricity mods once every, I want to say 2 months, maybe 3 months, something like that. Make sure you have a copy of each. One more time, Corrupted Heavy Goons, 120. Primary fire. See, this is why I like Corrosive. I don't have to wait on the damage. I don't have to wait on some stupid slash proc and all whatnot. I can just murder my target straight up. From a DPS perspective, yes, it's better to build. It's still better to build viral and slash. Yeah. But you can always go for something like this. If you're my kind of player, if you just want the instant damage as soon as you hit the target, you want to go for something like this. Now let's try the secondary fire mode as well, because this is pure corrosive. So let's check it out. Like I said before, if you cannot get bonus critical chance effects, do not go for the secondary fire mode on the Basmu. Okay? It's basically a wannabe Nukor, only not as good as the Nukor, so there's that. There's still a couple of options which I want to draw your attention to. Don't worry, we'll get to the Riven section soon enough. Now we got the 90 here. What you can also go for is a brand new, well, an old mod, which used to be a meme mod, Hammer Shot. Hold on, it's been buffed. It's been buffed, okay? Instead of 60% critical damage mixed in together with 40% status chance, you got a massive 80% status chance with 60% critical damage. It's a fantastic mod. Okay, you can definitely have a look at this one. The problem is that right now, it doesn't really work to the Basmu's strengths, because the Basmu isn't all that powerful. If this was a straight up critical weapon, this would have been fantastic, or perhaps even, I mean, let me show you exactly the result. It's better to let it speak for itself. You saw there what happened with Corrosive and the 90% electricity or toxin mod, which basically increased Corrosive. Trying to go for the head. You see that? It's basically mostly the same if you were to compare shot by shot. And of course, the secondary fire mode, as before, not fantastic. The reason why I did this is because I want to draw more attention to the buff that Hammer Shot got. It's no longer a meme mod, it's fantastic, and you should definitely include it in your builds. Treat this last mod slot on this one as your option slot, so plug into this one whatever you guys feel comfortable with. Perhaps a little bit of reload speed. What kind of effect does reload speed have on the Basmu anyway, Laser? Well, let me show ya. Let me show ya. I fight, I'm gonna be emptying my entire magazine. 1 pulse, 2 pulse. Hey, hold on a second, weren't there supposed to be 3 pulses there? Yeah, sadly so. More reload speed means less pulses, and vice versa. If you get minus reload speed, you're gonna be getting more pulses. Let me see if I can showcase that one to you guys. So it's not really worth it, not in this case. Let's see, can we get minus reload speed? What was it, Tainted Mag? I think it was Tainted Mag. There we go, let's go with Tainted Mag. More magazine capacity, less reload speed, which in this case will be meaning more pulses, or should be. Let's see if we can get the 4 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4 pulses. There you go, 5 pulses. Haha, bet you didn't see that one coming. Yes, you can get 5 pulses if you use this dead mod. Why am I calling it a dead mod? Well, because it is a dead mod. No, normally you don't really use this mod on basically any weapon. But in this case, in this specific circumstance, in the case of the Basmu, more magazine capacity is useful because it will allow you to focus on a single target for a longer period of time before you need to stop to get the quick reload on it, okay? And in case it does go to reload, even though it takes a little while longer, what, 0.3 instead of 0.2 the delay, you're gonna getting 2 additional pulses, so from my point of view, it's totally worth it. This is the base build I'm going to be recommending to you guys because I'm forced from a DPS perspective. You gotta still go with viral and freaking slash even on a weapon such as this. This is the build that will give you the most DPS when it comes to cheap O mods. You can build corrosive like I build corrosive because I simply enjoy playing like that a bit more. But what you can also do in case you have more expensive mods, Argon Scope, yay, Argon Scope. Well, take off Vigilante Armaments and put on Argon Scope. That's basically more critical chance, which will mean more slashes from Hunter Munitions. I think Argon Scope right now on the trade chat PC is about 200 plats, something like that. You might be getting it for cheaper. Now, if you go for something like this, of course, more critical chance means more slashes from Hunter Munitions. Fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. There you go, that will prove a bit more DPS. And enough about that, it's finally time to talk about Riven setups. Now, I got this one as a loaner from a friend. It's not exactly the best Riven you can go for, but this is what we got so far. We got critical chance, damage, awesome, and plus magazine capacity. Now, magazine capacity makes the weapon a bit more usable from my point of view. Again, you shoot a target, you kill it, you stop before you empty the magazine, you move on to another target. By the time the weapon reloads itself, you're already ready to headshot another target. Does that make any sense? More magazine capacity will definitely help with that because now I got 30 shots instead of 21 shots. More critical chance will mean more slashes from Hunter Munitions, so it's always good, and damage, of course, is always good. I didn't talk about the Weapon Excellence mod slot, and there's a reason for that. On this weapon, you don't really need it. Honestly, I wouldn't unlock it. I'm sad about the 20 plat I wasted on this one. So there you go. You can put on something like Vigilante Supplies, but it's pointless. You might say, hey, for the 5% critical chance extra thing, yes, but what you can do is get yourself a little Sentinel, like so, whatever Sentinel you guys prefer, with whatever weapon you guys prefer, and just simply use the Vigilante mods, okay? And you will get the chance to increase critical strikes, well, to move on to the next tier. In this case, considering that even with a critical chance Riven, I got a critical chance of 53, what was it, 53, 57%, the effect of the Sentinel mods are rather limited, but let's see how this one does with a Riven. Oh yeah, a lot better than before. And I'm not so hesitant on to stop the weapon from firing because I got a larger magazine capacity. So there you go. Performance with a Riven, of course, will be a whole lot better than before. It really depends on how much plat people are charging for these Rivens. Again, I wouldn't pay for a Basmu Riven more than 200, but that's just my 2 cents. If you love the weapon, if you think it's all that plus a bag of chips, then definitely go for a Basmu Riven. Now, of course, my friends, what follows next is the Warframe buff section, and for that we're going to be talking about 2 frames. First off, Lady Mirage Prime. And Lady Mirage is going to be using Corrosive Projection mixed in together with Arcane Rage R3 and Arcane Avenger R3. Keep in mind that Arcanes can no longer be double stacked. Thank you very much, DE. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. So let's test out the weapon like so and see how she performs. We're gonna bump up the level of the targets to level 150 on pause so they can hit me and I can get me buffs. We're gonna be using her free ability for a fantastic damage increase as well as her ever so lovely clones. The problem, well, one of the problems with this simulacrum is the fact that light is only over here. So there's that. Now, with buffs such as these, of course, the weapon becomes a lot more powerful than before. But to be honest, I was expecting more from the weapon. Perhaps we're using the wrong frame. Perhaps you guys want to see this with Lord Harrow and that secondary fire mode, that beam effect, just so you can get high critical chance and high critical damage. So as you can see, the weapon like this, it's not like it's not powerful. Sure, it's powerful, but I was expecting more, and I think you guys were expecting more as well. So let's test out the weapon with Harrow and more critical damage. How are we gonna be getting more critical damage from this weapon? Well, basically, if I know I'm gonna be going with Harrow, if I know I'm gonna be getting bonus critical chance effects, additive after, then I don't need Point Strike anymore, and I'm gonna go with more crit damage. One option is to slap in Hammer Shot. Why the hell not, right? You got a bit of critical damage, 60%, and a lot of status chance. But in this case, we're gonna go with even more critical damage with Bladed Rounds. And now for Lord Harrow. I love him. He's fantastic. He's hard to farm, but he's definitely worth it. It's a thankless job, but there you go. Corrosive Projection as before, Arcane Rage and Avenger as before, because, yeah, once upon a time we could use double Rage in the case of Harrow, because, well, I got critical chance bonus additive after from him. I don't need Avengers anymore. But, yeah, thanks D. One more time, same targets as before. And what we're going to be doing is activating his fourth ability, Covenant, like Sue, and of course don't forget about his second ability. His second ability might not be as flashy, but it gives you fire rate and reload speed, so bear that one in mind. As soon as the damage is prevented, okay, the whole circle thing stops, you're gonna be getting a huge critical chance bonus effect for body shots, 50%, headshots 200%. So let's go for headshots, take a look at that. And of course this looks a lot like the Nukor, because basically it mirrors the Nukor. Honestly, I wanted to see something new from weapons such as this, and when the weapon arcs to another target, it doesn't arc to a headshot, okay? So bear that one in mind. And I think, my friends, that's pretty much it for this weapon. It's time to draw some conclusions. The Basmu is more of an amalgam weapon, because basically it does kinda what the Acceltra does, only not as good as the Acceltra, and it does kinda what the Nukor does, only I still feel is not as good as the Nukor, especially since on secondary weapons we got prime critical chance and critical damage mods. Especially the critical damage mod would have helped a whole lot in this case. It's a decent weapon, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I wouldn't call it a must-have. And I think that is pretty much it. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me, I would definitely love to read it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below, if you guys want to suggest any particular type of content. I want to see this weapon build, that weapon build, this versus, that versus, and all of that good stuff. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.